Former Prime Minister Kevin Rudd hit out today at the factional bosses in the ALP who effectively removed him from power last year. His comments have stirred a confrontation on the government's front bench following the completion of a review of the Labor Party's campaign at the last election. From Canberra, here's our political correspondent Tommy Gooden.
The ALP's three wise men have reported on what went wrong for Labor at the last election, but only a privileged few in the party have actually seen the conclusions of the review, headed by Steve Bracks, John Faulkner and Bob Carr. Kevin Rudd's not one of them.
Frankly, I think it's in the wider interests of the party and the broader community if at an appropriate time they're made available for full and informed public discussion.
But that's brought him into direct conflict with at least one frontbench colleague.
There are some things that should remain confidential. We're in the business of winning elections, not in the business of assisting our opponents, and we'll continue to prioritise that.
Oh yeah, I'm battling on, mate.
And the Cabinet colleagues weren't done sparring there, with Kevin Rudd taking aim at demons past.
I was not elected by the factional leaders of Australia, of the Australian Labor Party, to do a job, though they may be seeking to do a job on me. That's a separate matter.
We do need to undertake some fundamental reforms, not least of which is the elimination of the power of factional leaders and factions in general.
It's pretty hard to abolish behaviour that exists in everywhere, including, where are you from? The ABC. I'm sure there's one or two factions in the ABC as well. There's certainly a couple I can think of.
Order, the House will come to order.
A reminder of the ALP's divisions was a distraction for a government continuing its efforts to make the most of splits in the opposition.
Just remind me how it goes. The Shadow Minister hates the Shadow Treasurer. They both think the Deputy Leader's useless and they all hate the member for Wentworth.
We have the poodle. No prizes for guessing who that is.
Order, the
We have
Minister.
the $1 million man. Oops,
The Assistant Treasurer will resume his seat. Order!
Mr Speaker, while it's amusing to hear the wannabe leader talk about wannabe leaders, it's hardly in order for him to use that prop.
The barbs aimed at the coalition's leadership squabbles appear to be finding their mark. A news poll to be published in tomorrow's Australian has Julia Gillard posting a 5-point increase on the question of who'd make the better Prime Minister. Tony Abbott, by contrast, has dropped 4 points, which could fuel recent unease about his leadership. There's been less of a change in the two-party preferred poll, with Labor up marginally and the coalition down. But not everyone in Parliament's focused on the latest polls. The Mandarins who actually run the day-to-day operations here at Capitol Hill have a much bigger problem on their hands, namely Parliament's $3 million plus annual power bill. Solar panels over the Senate will be trialled at a cost of several $100,000 for a reduction of just $9,500 in the parliamentary power bill.
Well, Senator, we're trying to take a long view here about the trajectory of electricity prices, which seems to be trending somewhat above CPI costs.
A familiar problem from Parliament House to just about every other house in the country. Tom Iggulden, Lateline.